I'm back, and this time, I brought friends. How you doing, everybody? I'm still the Bard Lucian, and today with me is my fiance, Lauren.
Hi.
And we're going to do something a little bit different. I know back, 2 years ago when I did stuff on this channel, I did, film reviews of things I went and saw that were in the theater. I did a video essay once. Today, Lauren and I are sitting down for a movie we've never watched. It's a classic, the Arrow Blu-ray of C.H.U.D.
Beneath the city of New York are living catacombs, an endless maze of subterranean tunnels. C.H.U.D. C.H.U.D. Cannibalistic, humanoid, underground dwellers. C.H.U.D. They're not staying down there anymore.
Actually, Lauren, do you know what C.H.U.D stands for? It is an acronym.
Creatures hidden under.
Hidden
under. I don't know.
That's better than I would have done. Cannibalistic. I'm in.
Oh.
Humanoid. So they're not exactly people,
right, okay.
but they kind of look like people. Mm-hmm. Underground. Dwellers. So they live underground.
Dwellers. What
do you know about C.H.U.D? Could you tell me a summary of the film or like its basic synopsis just off the top of your head? Breaking down the title gave us a little bit of a head start. Cannibalistic humanoid underground dwellers.
I think it's something to do with like a radioactive toxic thing that turned these people who live under the city and like the sewers and stuff like that.
The downtrodden, the homeless, the
yeah
bozos, if you will.
Yeah,
but we
very
won't,
much so,
because that's problematic. In downtown Manhattan, a police captain's hunt for his missing wife uncovers a series of mysterious disappearances in the area. Extending his search into the tunnels and sewers below, it soon becomes clear that something monstrous lurks beneath the city streets. And it's not staying down there much longer. So, interesting thing about C.H.U.D I'm reading on here that I don't think I knew. So it stars John Hurd.
Okay.
Daniel Stern. Do you know why you know that name?
Yeah.
From part of the, what are they? The Sticky Bandits of Home Alone fame. Alongside Joe Pesci, Daniel Stern in C.H.U.D. Alongside an early appearance from John Goodman.
Oh, wow.
Are you expecting a legitimately good film going into C.H.U.D? Are we gonna enjoy its style, its director's vision? Is that what we're gonna get out of C.H.U.D?
I think there will definitely be some fun aspects of it that we can appreciate, but I don't think it's gonna be anything groundbreaking. So.
All right, so if we were to go to Letterboxd, which I have, Letterboxd. If we were to go to Letterboxd and check out C.H.U.D, what do you think its average rating amongst all Letterboxd users is?
Is it out of 5 or 10?
Out of 5.
Out of 5? Probably like a 3.
You're not too far off.
Like a 3.2 or something?
It's a 2.8.
Oh.
Need I remind you of some movies that we watched that were lower than a 2.8?
Oh, no.
Let's see really quickly.
One eternity later.
All right, here we go. Some movies we have watched that Letterboxd users have also rated roughly at or below 2.8.
Okay.
Wishmaster. Scary Movie 1. Spookies. Hatchets 2 and 3. Underwater. Haunted Honeymoon. The Impractical Jokers Movie. Space Cop. The Original Puppet Master, Goon 2, Swamp Thing the movie, Mortal Kombat, the recent one, Hack-O-Lantern, Eight-Legged Freaks,
Oh, no.
Judge Dredd, Jack Frost, Blood Harvest, Howard the Duck, Boogeyman.
You can't tell me that Judge Dredd and Howard the Duck are on the same rating scale. Really?
So to let you in on that, we thoroughly enjoyed Judge Dredd and Howard the Duck. So if C.H.U.D is on or above that level, we're in for a good time.
Oh my goodness.
Are you ready to venture into C.H.U.D?
I guess so.
Let's do it.
Let's let it take us on a journey.
Let's do it! And we're back from C.H.U.D. It was our first time watching C.H.U.D. Cannibalistic humanoid underground dwellers.
Or contaminated, hazardous.
Spoilers!
It's
So we open up with what I dubbed the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle manhole opening, where unnamed woman is walking her dog in the streets of New York and is devoured by something in a manhole that we do not see, that leaves only a shoe behind, leaving me to ask the question, what happened to the dog? Cut to the next day, when a street sweeping machine
such
van...
a long opening credit sequence of just garbage being swept.
I called that the "We Promise New York is Clean" part of the movie.
Oh yeah.
We are also introduced to my favorite background extra, who I called Meth Head Henry Rollins. He takes a stroll across the screen. He does that again later in the movie, and I was very excited to see him. Then we meet our protagonist, George, played by John Hurd, who is taking photos of homeless people from his balcony.
You kind of get the sense that he's like obviously doing it for like art purpose and
Yeah.
not just like, oh, why is this like some kind of rear window kind of thing.
Which is confirmed when he gets a call that he lets go to voicemail by his agent, I presume, Derek,
Yeah.
who tells him he has a deadline on his photographs about, quote, subterranean bums. That's also when we are introduced to Lauren.
His wife's name is Lauren.
Is it his wife? I thought it was just his girlfriend.
Oh, I guess that's never really said. His partner, if you will. His chud bud.
Yeah. But the chud. I wrote down that George has serious fuckboy energy. He spends the whole time like making squinty eyes and biting his lip.
Yeah. Them interacting as a couple, they felt very natural and realistic.
Oh yeah, it definitely seemed like the actors liked working together.
Yeah. Well, it made the couple like believable, I guess. Like it wasn't just like a Tammy and the T-Rex or something where it's kind of.
We say that. We haven't watched Tammy and the T-Rex yet. Let us watch Tammy and the T-Rex. Let's watch Tammy and the T-Rex for this. If you like it, then the next one we'll do Tammy and the T-Rex. If you want it, tell us.
I did not think that this movie's tone was going to be as straightforward as it was, but like...
It takes itself very seriously.
It does. It does. During that trash piling scene and stuff, with like the ambient music and everything, like...
I wrote about the music a lot in my notes.
Yeah, it's...
I didn't write down why, but I know Lauren goes to the basement for some reason. I wrote down that it looks grimy as hell in there. And then he says, quote, because today I'm gonna shoot Lauren. And I just...
Yeah.
I felt that, Woman we meet outside their apartment goes outside and witnesses the aftermath of a hobo being sucked through the ground in some boxes.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, she was the one... She's the character that has the kid in the movie. And her character had such Dee Wallace vibes to it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, just like for some reason, it's just like, oh, okay, so she's just like token mom character in this kind of like weird semi-horror, semi-sci-fi kind of movie or
They gave her,
whatever.
like, one characteristic, which is she's kind of a hippie.
Yeah.
And that's, like, all they gave her. They gave her, like, a flowy dress and some Rasta-looking bag.
Yeah.
After she witnesses the hobo getting killed, we then cut to another set of characters we need to learn, which is our set of characters at the precinct. We got some cops in this movie. Chiefly, or not chiefly, captainly, Bosch, who knows something that the chief doesn't want him to tell anyone, which is very mysterious. Something about people going missing in the city, in Soho. I wrote that down. I was genuinely, like, sucked in. I was interested in what was going to happen.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh, what does he know? I also wrote down Snippy secretary policewoman is proof. And we're also introduced to what I called him the first time we saw him. I called him long hair discount Dick Miller, who talks to Bosch. I give him a couple of different names throughout this until I finally learn his name. But this time he's long hair discount Dick Miller. From there, we go to the studio where girlfriend Lauren, wife Lauren, is shooting the perfume ad that George has to film of her. And I wrote down, this film doesn't want a woman to own her own sexuality and make her own choice to pose nude. He was very like, oh, I'm so against this because we didn't like make this decision together. Like it's his decision at all.
Right. But I mean, I thought it was a good takeaway though, because I mean, she like held her own of like, well, I don't care too much that you don't want me to do it because it's something that I'm choosing to do.
Yeah, she still goes through, like, they still go through with it, so. Yeah, that's a good point. Then Bosch goes to meet A.J. Shepard, whose name was mentioned in the precinct, who is, I call him the Rev in my notes, Daniel Stern's character. And I wrote down I immediately like Daniel Stern way more than George.
Yeah.
He's just incredibly more personable. He's more believable. Like, I liked him way more.
Yeah. George is kind of just flat.
Very much so, yeah. His fellow street people are going missing, but most specifically, the ones who live underground, is what he's telling Bosch. He's only got one undergrounder left that he's seen in the past 2 weeks, this guy named Val, who goes absolutely rabid on Bosch when Bosch tries to question him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then Bag Lady, who attempted to steal a cop's gun earlier in the movie. I'm not going to explain it. I didn't write it in here. It's not super
It's
important.
not. There's a lot of, like, kind of little scenes where things just intercross with one another so often, and then it just, like, is gone for, like, the rest of it, and...
I wrote down, I dig the atmosphere that the score was creating as they were heading underground the first time.
Oh, yeah. I put whenever Bosch and AJ were messing with the Geiger counter, the radiation thing. It was legit a little tense. Like I kind of liked that, like you said, with the mood of the music and stuff with that.
I said the tunnels kind of reminded me of Hell in Hellraiser 2.
Okay, yeah.
Or when they're like next to the pipes, it's very alien.
I also had an alien comparison while watching this.
Which is when we learn that the opening scene lady
with
is
the dog,
Bosch's wife.
Is Bosch's wife.
Which is why he has such a vested interest in what's going on. But I still want to know, Bosch, what happened to your dog? It's just gone. It's just gone. I don't know what's happening. Reverend rolls a joint in front of a cop. LMAO, I wrote. Bosch and the Rev head down into the alien pipes, and they find out all the radiation and shit, the Geiger counter they find.
Yeah, the noise of the Geiger counter, along with the music and stuff, like, is what I said, is like added on to a tense, you know, kind of like a...
Then we cut back to George and Lauren to find out that Lauren is pregnant. Suddenly, George is all, oh, it's your body, it's your choice, you know. And they decide to have a kid.
I thought it was very interesting, 1984, a small conversation about abortion.
Yeah.
And like, they called it,
the other option.
Alternative.
The alternative.
The alternative. Yeah, I was like, have you thought about having an alternative, and like that's so weird to sound whenever we say now like abortion, but yeah, for that time I'm sure that was.
Cut to them the next day, like they went to bed, and I wrote that whoever's playing Derek in those voicemails is very funny.
Yeah.
Like he's just riffing for a minute and it's really funny. Then we watch an old man get killed in a phone booth while his grandson watches, or granddaughter watches.
Yeah, it cuts again to like, here's the normal storyline that we're playing out for you, and then it cuts scenes to we are viewing like, you know, this intense thing like happening that adds to the story, but it's like totally different mood from what we just watched like 2 seconds ago.
Which is the first time we get a real look at the C.H.U.D.
Yeah.
We get some claws coming out of the sewer, and we get to see its face with the big glowing eyes.
The scene after that, and also like just kind of an intense blood effect. Like it just kind of gets everywhere, which like I'm about. And then the scene after that where it cuts to the police station, and the little girl, you know, sitting there, and I think
some monster came out of the sewer and ate her grandfather.
Captain came up, and that dude, you know, that cop is like, she's in hysterics or like whatever. She thinks a monster killed her grandpa, and like you go back to the kid, and the kid's like bored as hell. The kid's just sitting there, and it's like that kid is not in hysterics.
Bosch goes and grabs the Reverend again, and they all go to George's place because they know that George has been taking photos of people underground.
Yeah.
And I was excited. I was like, okay, cool. Like, our 3 main characters finally going to share a scene together. George isn't there. So the Reverend just picks the lock with the cop there. The police. That's what I wrote.
At about this point in the movie, like, I guess a little over halfway, it starts to feel like They Live to me, where, like, a small group of people know about a bigger thing that's going on around them and like in their community, and so like they kind of like form to go take it down.
After they sneak in and steal some photos of George's, we cut to where George is actually, which is out at the park with his new baby mama.
Yeah, they're just having a picnic.
Just having a picnic.
And this other awful stuff is like going on with the...
They have no idea. I wrote, here comes Fade to Black era Mickey Rourke. This is when I now learned that guy's name is Murphy, freelance reporter. He tries to get George to tell him things about what's going on underground, about all these missing people, and George is just not having it.
Yeah.
We cut to Bosch, who, having decided that it was too much, that granddaughter saw her grandfather get killed, gets all these bigwigs together and finally gets them to tell him what's going on. Quote, I'm not prepared to concede the existence of some kind of monster. Disgusting CEO. This is when Daniel Stern's Reverend is called a paranoid hippie, and I felt that in my bones. And they said the thing.
They said the thing I was just about to say, and it's within that scene where we get C.H.U.D.
Cannibalistic humanoid underground dwellers. And we also learn that the CEO dude knows about the C.H.U.Ds and like acts super nonchalant. He's very flippant about their existence. He takes the group to see a dead C.H.U.D, and I wrote that their helmets look very 2001.
Yeah, I wrote in all caps, weird suits.
Weird suits, exactly. And Bosch is just completely taking the whole Mac wants the flamethrower route of everything. He just burn these fuckers.
Yeah, he said just burn it to the ground.
Mac wants the flamethrower. Mac wants the what? That's what he said. Now move! Damn it.
CEO dude is not feeling it. He says that they got it under control. It was a one mistake. It's not going to happen again.
That's how it always happens.
And he sends down his own team, but Bosch has still sent down his group of guys.
Because he just pulled a quick one on you.
Pulled a quick one on. I wrote, not Ken 4E and Dawn of the Dead leads the way underground with CEO's guys and flamethrower cops. I also wrote that the transfer by Arrow looked particularly good there. With the flames, they were very vibrant. It was very nice. C.H.U.D killed everyone. Chud killed everyone.
I put that tunnel scene with the crew whenever they're watching them on the camera was very Aliens.
Yeah.
Whenever Ripley is watching the game over, man, like crew go in and try to find what it is that they're looking for, and they're just like knowing something's going on, but they can't do anything about it, and everybody just gets fucking slaughtered.
Disgusting CEO. I finally learned his name is Wilson. They might have said that before then. I did not catch it until right. George comes home and realizes his photos have been stolen, and he thinks Murphy did it, doing something about reporting, and he calls him to meet him and get his photos back. At this point, you remembered that John Goodman is supposed to appear in this movie, and we just sat with that in the air for a minute.
Yeah, I was waiting patiently.
Bosch goes to find the Reverend, and he relays what C.H.U.D means, telling him that those undergrounders are becoming radiated and mutated, and becoming these other beings, and that Wilson is willing to destroy an entire section of Soho just to keep this under wraps. I wrote, what a cunt. Murphy has a gun as he and Bosch go underground.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of quick cuts in this part as we enter into the main chunk of, like, the big climax.
Yeah.
Everyone being stuck underground. We go to the Reverend, who tries to tell the one undergrounder left, Val, that Wilson's going to attempt to fill the sewers with gas to kill the Chuds. Instead, when attempting to get back out, Wilson had sent some guy after the Reverend, who killed Val and locked the Reverend underground.
Val just fucking dies.
Just slams his head on a rock.
Hit and then he just dies. And I was like,
dead.
oh my gosh, I can't believe they did that. I can't believe they did Val that way.
Murphy and George are making their way through the underground, and a Chud gets Murphy. Which I was kind of surprised. At that point, I was like, oh, okay, maybe it's like a group of like 4 people. Like,
yeah. Someone's got to die.
The Reverend is now walking around the underground trying to find a way out. The one way he was gonna try is locked now. I wrote I was getting some strong Frank Henenlotter, like, brain damage basket case vibes as he, like, descended deeper into the underground. The shot composition, and, like, it was so grimy. He comes across a, quote, coven of Chuds that I wrote.
I wrote Chud Chant.
Chud Chant! I like that, too. I also said they looked like the Haunted Mask.
Yeah. I kept seeing Swampy.
No.
I kept seeing Swampy, and it just wasn't a good Swampy.
The Reverend makes his presence known to the group of Chud, who chase him, and I wrote that the shot of the one Chud coming down the sewer pipe towards him was actually really cool, like really creepy. I liked it.
Yeah.
Cut back to Lauren at her house, and she finds their dog dead. I don't really understand what happened there.
I literally wrote that not sure what the scene with Lauren finding the dog was supposed to do for the film.
Yeah, I don't know what the dead dog was about.
I mean, obviously, I guess it's like, oh, that's what happened to the dog kind of thing. But then it's like, well, that's surely not the only reason. Like, and then she calls the police, and I was like, oh, okay. Maybe Bosch is gonna be like, oh, they found a dog, and he's gonna realize that it was his wife's dog, and then that be a thing, but it wasn't.
Then I wrote, fuck! Bosch is called to the scene of the discovery of his wife's severed fucking head.
Yep, I said, yeah, that head was nasty.
Yeah. Pregnant girlfriend shower scene, question mark?
Shower blood scene, question mark.
Yeah. I liked the little bit where as the Chud got closer to the shower, the water started boiling. I thought that was a good, like, little bit.
Oh, I don't think I caught that.
And then something clogs up their drain, and she attempts to clean the drain, and, like, an it level of shooting blood up into the air happens. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, I liked, like I said, the splattering of blood. I mean, it was just cool.
Yeah, and that's when we get our one more shot of Meth Head Rollins as he continues to prowl the streets. Alright, we had to switch the memory cards out of one of the cameras. Sorry about that. We're back after a short break. So we had just got through the shower scene and Meth Head Rollins, and just as you had described, finally he showed up. Young, baby-faced John Goodman as a cop in a diner.
Scummy.
Very scummy. I'd wrote, John Goodman as a cop. Maybe not all cops are... Wait, never mind. They sexually accost the waitress at a diner. Chuds invade the diner and kill everyone.
Dude, okay, that scene, I loved this setup about it. It was just so fucking chaotic and just a massacre. I liked a little detail where we're getting like an exterior shot of the diner. You can see like the trail of blood coming from the diner to the sewer, and it's just like a trail of just all this blood. And
It becomes a huge crime scene.
yeah.
I mean, like, there's no keeping the cat in the bag anymore about shit going down. Everything is wrecked. Tons of people are dead.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of the theater scene in An American Werewolf in London, when that happens and the crowd starts to form.
Then I wrote, oh yeah, George is still underground with a gun. He comes into the contact with the guy who he saw earlier who had a bit of his leg bit off.
Yeah.
Who's like now mid-transformation into a chud and has killed some other people.
Yeah. And dude's wife.
Bag lady from earlier.
She grabs George's gun and AJ just pops up and just shoves her to the side and that's it. There wasn't any like tussling with it. Like she just...
Nope, it was more important for us to learn that the Reverend was still alive. Like, the bag lady wasn't actually an important part of the scene. Back to the house, Lauren tries to leave the house and is kind of accosted by a chud out there.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I also put on there, long scene of Lauren barricading the door, and, like, just the entire time we're watching it, like, it just, like, well, is there something that's gonna happen? Like, it's just, like...
It does take a while.
She puts the shelf, and then she puts the dresser, and then she has to move this plant thing off of another type of furniture, and oh my gosh.
I liked the music, though, I wrote down in that scene. Like, it was very tense. Cops arrive and are eaten. Good job, Chud. Then Reverend and George come across literal bright green globs of radioactive material coming out of like barrels. Exactly like you imagine it on like cartoons, like Toxic Crusaders and shit. And we learn what Chud really means. Contamination hazard urban disposal.
Those bastards.
Those bastards. So Wilson and his company have been dumping poison in sewers for years and years. I wrote that George doesn't understand how to handle himself in the situation as he has a bit of a breakdown.
Oh, yeah. I have a further note on that one. But, yeah, I just put AJ and George rolling around in body parts.
Yeah, exactly.
Just so much gore and stuff just everywhere.
And specifically, the body parts of the crew and cops from earlier, because they find the camera and headset they were using
from the crew that went down
to use it to get in contact with the people and get Bosch's help. I said I fucking love the Chud's eyes as he stalks the pregnant girlfriend in the house.
Oh, yeah. I really liked the diversion where she's, like, prepared herself to have him come through the door, like, whenever she, like, closed it again, and then he just, like, busts through the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought
Reminded
that was
me
really
of
cool.
a scene at the start of Resident Evil 7, where, like, it makes you think something's gonna happen and something bursts through the wall.
Yeah.
She starts going all the bride on that shit. She finds a fucking sword.
Yeah, she does. I also thought Kill Bill.
She gets a sword and fucking chops the Chud's head off after it stretches its neck out.
Yeah, like, what the fuck, the thing type thing.
Back at the huge crime scene, Bosch pulls Wilson to the side and finally gets like Wilson to fully fess up for what's going on.
Yeah.
You're nothing but the government garbage man. I thought was a really good line. Wilson pulls a gun on him, and I said like he's just cool to kill a cop. Lauren shows up. She got away from the Chud to say that George is still underground and they need to stop the plan to send the gas down there. Bosch runs to a van, and tries to move it so that it stops blocking a sewer grate so George and Reverend can get out. And then Bosch is suddenly shot by Wilson.
Yeah, Bosch gets shot.
I wrote in all caps, Bosch is shot, that fucker.
They shot Bosch.
But the Reverend and George still manage to make it out of the sewer in time. As Wilson drives away in the van and the pregnant girlfriend shows up.
Yeah.
And then Wilson tries to straight up fucking death race those motherfuckers.
Dude, yeah, just wrecked.
Fucking Daniel Stern, the Reverend, coming in, being a badass, shoots Wilson as he's just driving up towards him. And somehow the van explodes?
Big 80s explosion. They had him, so they used him, I guess.
Again, I wrote Daniel Stern looks like a badass.
Hey, quit it.
Then from the side we hear, nice shot. Bosch is still alive.
Yeah, Bosch is still alive, I guess.
Okay.
Which is fine. Like, I'm happy Bosch lived. It had to be a happy ending.
I actually liked him a lot. I need a Bosch and the Rev, like, buddy cop show.
Yeah. I thought it was kind of funny. Bosch said nice shot twice.
Yeah, he said it the first time.
Yeah, in between the montage of, like, George and Lauren, like, celebrating on their end, and, like, George is just a broken man by that point. Like, he's just, like, does not know what he experienced. And Bosch just says, nice shot again. Like, that's the only thing that he can
That really matters, you know?
tell AJ in that moment after just destroying the thing that the whole movie's about. But
Then I finish it with, is this it? Is the movie done? The score makes it sound that way. I guess it's done. The Chuds are dead, I think. What's gonna happen about them? End of movie. Credits. Roll credits.
yep.
So we spent some time at the top talking about what we already knew about the movie. I knew, of course, it had something to do with, like, underground stuff. Partly because of the title. You know, it's in the title. But also because it's one of the VHS that you see at the start of Us. The references that Jordan Peele is like, oh, these kind of inspired the movie.
Yeah. I had read something about that too.
After sitting down and watching the movie, what do you think? What's your take overall?
It was an adventure like we wanted. Like, I'm glad that we experienced C.H.U.D.
I thought it was a fun time for us. We enjoyed the experience.
Again, I don't put it on the same tier rating as Judge Dredd, but I can kind of see where it kind of falls into that category because it is, you know, it has some comedic elements, but the movie is pretty straight, you know.
Yeah, it is, as weird and funny as the concept is, the movie plays it very straight.
Yeah.
I liked how it used New York City as a character, like those Frank Henenlotter movies that I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
The effects weren't crazy amazing, but like gore was good.
The practical effects were pretty good.
It was passable. I enjoyed them.
I think it definitely made up for the accessible amount of like dialogue and like story building and stuff that it was doing for the most part.
Was it a little slow?
Yeah, I mean, there was just a lot of people to keep up with, I guess.
I enjoyed the score. Like, I thought the synth music in the background was fun.
Yeah.
So would you recommend C.H.U.D?
I would recommend it in terms of, like, somebody who's already watched a lot of good things, and if they're looking for a more offbeat, new feel of a movie from the 80s, like, yeah, I'd probably...
Someone looking to broaden their
recommend
horizons, try something a little different.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would definitely recommend it. I think it was fun. I think whenever I go back to like those movies in the 80s with the practical effects and everything, one of my main... If I know that the story isn't going to be like the biggest thing for me, the next most important thing is, did I have fun? And I did. And so I think that's a big deal.
If it was a fun visual experience.
Yeah, exactly. So I would definitely recommend it. I think I'm glad I've seen C.H.U.D. I get C.H.U.D. now. Like, whenever C.H.U.D. things will appear, I will understand them now.
And maybe we can watch
C.H.U.D 2, but the C.H.U.D.
That'll be really fun, I think, for us too.
But we promised that if you guys want more of this, the next episode is going to be Tammy and the T-Rex. And we're going to hold ourselves to that. You just got to let us know. I thought this was really fun. I'm glad we did it.
Yeah, me too.
And I'm totally down to do more.
Yeah.
So until next time, I'm Lucas.
And I'm Lauren.
We're Hobbs End Horror.
The moral of C.H.U.D. The real monster is the U.S. government.
I'm the government, I'm the government, I'm the reason nothing works.